Alrighty friendos, welcome in. So in today's video, we are going to talk about all things looping, how to loop the ghost, how to get better at looping the ghost, this, that, and the other. So if that is something you're interested in and want to get better at looping the ghost, stick around. I'm going to teach you a couple tricks as far as like crouch looping, about how to get away from the ghost and whatnot. So without further ado, also, I wanted to say a huge thank you from the bottom of my heart for 10k subs. We did it. I cannot believe we actually hit 10,000 subs. That's incredible. And I want to make a 10,000 sub special. So to do for that, I want to do a bunch of Phasmophobia challenges. So if you could comment down below a fun Phasmophobia challenge you want to see me do, and I will take like 3, 4, I don't know. I'll take a few of the suggestions that have the most likes, and I will make a 10k special video out of them. So let me know in the comments below. Otherwise, okay, back to the video. And at the end of this video, I'm going to show you how to test for 14 ghosts from this spot right here. There are actually 14 ghosts you can identify from just one hunt. So if that's something that you are interested in, I'll put a timestamp right here in case you just want to skip to that and skip past all the looping tips. Without further ado, here we are on Tanglewood, arguably one of the best maps to loop ghosts on. And as far as looping goes, I was really hoping we had that hiding. There's a couple different strategies for how you can loop the ghost. You can stand and loop the ghost, which is fine, and I do that very often. Only problem with that is that the ghost is going to get gradually faster and faster. This ghost is just pulling me right now. And then another strategy for looping the ghost is that you can crouch loop the ghost. So basically you crouch with your flashlight on to keep the ghost aggro, but the ghost will not get gradually faster and faster because it doesn't actually see you, it just senses your flashlights. Here we go. So for the first one, we will stand loop the ghost. And my biggest recommendation for this is to save your sprint as much as you can, but we also kind of have a fast ghost right now. I think we have a Moroi. So as you can see, I'm not sprinting the whole time. I'm saving my sprint. I'm sprinting now. Saving my sprint. Okay, I do have to smudge because this ghost is really fast and got close to me. But as you saw, I wasn't sprinting the whole time. Like I would say, I'm sorry, this ghost is so fast. It's really funny. I would just sprint every once in a while. Okay, so I actually decided to hop out of the house and go ahead and add my keyboard and mouse to the screen so you can kind of see what keystrokes I'm pressing as I'm doing this and like when I'm using my sprint, when I'm not using my sprint. This may be overkill, but also this ghost is like super fast that we're currently playing against. So this is not a great example, but we're going to be looping a couple ghosts just so you can see the strategy. So I'll go ahead and loop it again with full visibility so it sees me the whole time, and I can show you like how I'm saving my sprint and whatnot. Basically, I'm just saving my sprint when the ghost gets too close and I want to get a little ways away. Because if you use your sprint as immediately the whole way, you're probably only going to get like one loop out of the ghost. Because you're going to run a sprint, you're going to have to wait for your sprint to recharge. And while it's recharging, the ghost is going to get faster and faster and closer. So I always try to save my sprint for when I absolutely need it. So here we go. Okay, so here she comes. Not sprinting yet. Okay, well she doubled back, so I do have to sprint. I'm gonna walk a little bit, sprint a little bit more, walk, sprint. Okay, I do have to smudge because I'm really close. And again, this ghost is difficult to do this with because it is so fast. Before we hop into another game though, oh my gosh, she's so fast. I'm gonna show you how to crouch loop the ghosts. Which is if you want to get a visual of the ghost, but you don't want it to get faster. So basically with the crouch looping, you'll be able to loop the ghost the whole hunt. It won't get any faster as long as you make sure it doesn't see you around the corners. And then we'll probably hop into a game against like a not so speedy ghost. Or maybe we'll go to a different map so I can show you how to loop on all the other maps. But really any map, so like Tanglewood, Willow, Grafton, Bleasdale that has this kitchen island, you can do this similar stuff as far as crouch looping. And so also the reason I knew that this ghost is a Moroi is because we are currently playing at 0 sanity, and the way the Moroi works is that it is faster. Its hunting speed is going to be faster depending on how low your sanity is. And so since we're playing at 0 sanity, this ghost, since it's a Moroi, is going to start out like when it's hunting very fast. Then as we're looping the ghost, Morois will also gradually speed up with line of sight, like as you've seen this ghost do. Okay, so we're gonna crouch loop this one. So that's another way to determine that this ghost isn't like a Thay or Hantu. Okay, so we're crouch looping it. You see, it's not getting any faster. I mean, it's still following me because my flashlight's on, but as long as I save my sprint just to make sure that I'm getting that little extra distance around the corners, that wasn't fantastic because I let her see me. She double backed. But you do kind of have to watch out for the double back because they do get a little bit sneaky. But you basically, yeah, just keep an eye on her, like track her, make sure she's in double back, and you can just loop her the whole hunt. You obviously need to hold like an electronic while you're doing this so the ghost tracks your movement, because if you're just standing here with no flashlight, the ghost isn't going to know you're here. So if you wanted to follow you so that you can actually get a visual, you need to have some kind of electronic equipment either in your hand on or your flashlight on your shoulder. Another reason we were able to tell that this is a Moroi is that after I smudged it, it ignored me for a very long time. This ghost ignored me for, the Morois will ignore you for 12 seconds after you smudge them. Where every other ghost will ignore you. I apologize for the barking, by the way. Every other ghost will ignore you for only 6 seconds after you smudge them. So I'll go and loop it one more time, show you how it gradually gets faster with line of sight, and how it ignores me for a very long time after I smudge it. Okay, here we go. So as you can see, it's starting out fast. It kind of sounded oddly slow for a second, but I think it was just getting caught on things. Okay, so now we're gonna loop it, and just watch as it's gradually getting faster and faster. All right, now I'm gonna smudge it and watch how long it ignores me. Like, I should almost be able to stand here for the rest of the hunt, and it shouldn't come back. Listen how fast she got. Okay, I do think the 12 seconds is up on the smudge though, so. Just the tail end of the hunt, she came back. But that is like a great way to test for Moroi. If you're not sure if it's speeding up, you think it might be Moroi, you can always smudge it and see how long it ignores you for. Okay, let's go and hop onto a different map and I'll show you how to loop around not the kitchen island, because honestly the kitchen island is pretty OP for looping and trying to figure out the ghost with no evidence. Okay, so now we're on Ridgeview, which the Ridgeview has the dining room table. That's the only loopable spot on this map. Well, I guess you could technically loop the ghost around this chair, although I never do because it's just like, it's like such a small surface. I don't know. So I always use the dining room table, and actually, if you save your sprint enough and manage your movements perfectly, you can loop the ghost in the spot without ever having to smudge, because eventually the ghost, depending on what ghost it is, of course, will get so fast that it just runs into that wall. Sounds like we have a normal speed of ghost. It eventually runs into that wall, and will, yeah, it like runs to the wall and slows down. Sorry, I don't know why I was having such a hard time. So I haven't even like, I'm sprinting a little bit now. Actually, I'm barely sprinting at all. Just kind of tapping it every once in a while. Main thing, that's what I was worried about. Main thing you have to worry about is the double back. But actually, just by walking and like hugging the table, you're able to like control the ghost movement so that it just it keeps going in a one circle around the table instead of double backing. So go and do that again so you can watch how I did it again. I only sprinted just a little bit if I felt like the ghost was getting too close, or like if I let the ghost double back on me. Okay, here we go again. And since I know the ghost is coming from the basement, I'm gonna try to stand on the opposite corner where the ghost is gonna come from. That way I have extra time to adjust my movement accordingly. So it's getting a little close. I'm gonna sprint just a little bit. Just kind of tap it, that way my sprint will always be recharging. He does like to do the double backsies, so I am kind of gonna let him get a little close. Okay, I did not manage my sprint there correctly, so I wasn't able to loop him the whole hunt. But if I had moved just a little bit better to keep him from double backing, I wouldn't have had to smudge. But yeah, I mean, obviously smudging, there's nothing wrong with smudging and running away. Especially in this spot, you can smudge, and then you have this kitchen refrigerator right here you can hide behind. But this table in particular, if you move accordingly, if you move perfectly, you actually do not have to smudge. So basically, long story short, if you are like standing and looping, if you manage your sprint, you can get a lot more loops out of the ghost. Like just kind of tap sprint. If you ever feel like the ghost is just getting a little bit too close, try to save your sprint for when you only need it. So one other trick I wanted to show you before we hop into some tips as far as getting better at looping. I wanted to show you kind of an easy strat for trying to get a ghost picture during a hunt. If you're on a map where you can crouch loop the ghost, so say like Tanglewood, Willow Street, Grafton, Bleasdale, houses with like tables or kitchen islands that you can actually crouch behind. So the Ridgeview dining table, you cannot crouch loop around that dining table. The ghost will see you at all times. But places like this. So I'm going to show you ways that I like to get pictures during a hunt if I get this ghost to come over here. Here, ghost. So the general idea is that we're gonna crouch, and whenever I want to take a picture, I'm just gonna stand up. Which I don't know how many are counting. That picture right there definitely counted. So the ghost isn't gonna get any faster as long as you just kind of pop up, snap the picture, snap the picture. See, a couple of those would have counted. And the ghost will never get faster, so you don't have to worry. I think this ghost is actually a haunt too. So you don't ever have to actually worry about the ghost getting faster and faster and having to smudge and run away. The idea is you just sit here, crouch, pop up, take a picture, pop up, take a picture. And unfortunately, like, it's kind of hard to time the perfect picture during a hunt. But as you can see, it took me, I got a 1-star interaction. It took me 2 tries to get my first ghost picture. I usually try to time my picture for right when I think the blink is going to end and the ghost is going to be visible, because there's like a slight delay when you hit right click and you go to take the picture. So I usually try to time it for that. Honestly, most of the time when I take ghost pictures, I just spam it. I don't try to like get the perfect picture. I just like kind of stand up and take a picture and hope it counts. But actually 3 of those I do believe would have counted. So, oh, she's hunting again. Okay. So that is how I like to get ghost pictures during a hunt, if I have a place that I can like crouch loop behind. Okay, now here's some strategies if you want to get better at looping, but maybe you're a little bit nervous to loop the ghost, you aren't used to it, it's kind of scary, which I totally get, trust me, I've been there. You can go to your custom difficulties and create a setting where you have infinite sprint, infinite player speed, you want the ghost to be normal speed. So basically the general premise is that when you are at infinite sprint and 150 player speed, the ghost can never catch you. You can sit there and loop it as long as you want. So if you just want to get a feel for what it's like to loop the ghost, you basically can put all the other settings however you want. Just make sure that you are 150, infinite sprint, the ghost is 100% speed. And we'll go and hop onto Tanglewood and I'll show you what that feels like. And I'm not even going to take a smudge stick in, because you don't even need a smudge stick to get away from the ghost. So we're just going to go in. I do actually think, okay, we're gonna have to use a cursed possession. You would probably want to put either add cursed possessions or put your sanity down to 0 so the ghost hunts you. Otherwise you'll be sitting in the dark for a while waiting for the ghost to hunt. I forgot to put my sanity down to 0. So we'll just grab, we'll grab the music box and just get the ghost to hunt this way. If you didn't know, if you start the music box and then just chuck it with G, oh, you're in here. It's a little unfortunate. The ghost will instantly hunt. So if you do this, okay, well, or the ghost is gonna be on top of me. It's a good way to get the ghost to hunt. So we're gonna sit here and just loop the ghost. I did take my keyboard off the screen just because you don't really need it for this. You have infinite sprint. You do not have to worry about the ghost catching you ever. Like, see how fast it's getting? I'm not even sprinting right now. Okay, I sprinted a little bit right there. I'm just walking. Like, that's how fast you are. And you can just sit here and get a feel for what it's like to like loop around certain areas. And you can do this on any map that you want to get better at looping on. Obviously, you're going to want to eventually go back down to like normal sprint, normal player speed to get better at like a normal game. But if you just want to get a feel for what it's like to loop a ghost without the fear of getting caught, that's how you do it. All right, and one other thing I want to touch on before I start talking about how to identify all the 14 identifiable ghosts from one hunt. Is how to get away from the ghost if you do decide to loop it and it gets really fast. I will go ahead and pop up my keyboard for this just in case it helps you see like when I'm crouching, when I'm sprinting, etc. So when you are looping the ghost, always have an escape route planned. Know what hiding spot you're going to go to. Like, so for example, we have this hiding spot. If we want to, do we have garage hiding? Another thing, you can also loop around this car on Tanglewood and the one on Willow. But I prefer the counter looping myself because I can see the ghost better. We also have a hiding spot here in the garage. Okay, we'll go ahead and bring the ghost in here for a second just because I like to loop with the lights on in the kitchen. Oh, it's an albake. Oh my god, this ghost is an albake. Beautiful creature. Yeah, if you loop around the car, it's super duper easy. It's just, you can't really see the ghost that well. Is the only reason I don't loop around here more. But there's very seldom opportunities that this ghost gets line of sight with you. So as long as you keep your flashlight on, it'll just keep going straight. So another option if you want to try to get better at looping the ghost, you could start here. But that's not what we're doing right now. We're gonna go back into the kitchen. We're gonna loop the ghost how I normally would, and then I'm gonna show you how I get away. My escape routes, I think I'm gonna go for the closet in the hallway. And there's not really, like, both the garage and the hallway hiding spot are fine. Even if there's a hiding spot in the basement, that is also fine. But I have a specific strategy for like how I like to handle when I go to smudge and get away, if I do choose to like smudge and leave if I'm not like crouch looping. The general idea is that whenever I'm like, okay, this ghost is getting too fast, I probably need to smudge, is I start backing up towards my hiding spot. I try to make sure that I walk, because you want to save as much sprint as possible to sprint to your actual hiding spot. So I'm going to loop the ghost until it gets too fast, and then I'm going to start heading towards my hiding spot, smudge at the last possible moment, or maybe smudge a little bit before the last possible moment, just because I usually smudge at a very dangerous time. Feel free to smudge earlier than I do. And yeah, we're gonna walk, and then we'll be able to sprint to our hiding spot because we saved our sprint. Okay, here we go. Would you please join me in the kitchen? There we go. Okay. Vino Bake for me, please. Oh my god, there he goes. Okay, now I probably don't need to leave just yet, but I'm gonna going to do some walking. Oh my god, he shapeshifted again. And then just kind of start walking back towards your hiding spot. That way you're already headed in that direction. Because if you smudge, like while you're still at the kitchen island, that's like 2-3 seconds you're wasting trying that you could have saved to have more time to get to your hiding spot. So if like you smudged right here, you still have to go over here and then make it to your hiding spot. So I usually try to start heading towards my hiding spot before I even smudge. Or even like alternatively. Sometimes the garage in this situation could even be better. Because like if you go here then around this corner, that's a little bit more line of sight that you're breaking, so the ghost doesn't get even just a little bit faster. And then usually by this point I would have to smudge and run. So long story short, know where you're gonna hide after you're done looping, and then when you're about to finish your loop, aka you're gonna smudge and run away, try to start heading towards your hiding spot just to give you a little bit extra time on the blindness effect to get to your hiding spot. Okay, I think we've covered just about everything. As far as loop, I mean, there's a bunch I could cover about looping. I could take you to every map and show you where to loop the ghost, but really any spot that is that you could go around in a circle, it could be used as a loopable surface or a loopable spot. And I don't know, get creative. There's probably a lot of spots that even I don't know about that you can loop the ghost, and it could be a really fun time. So let's go ahead and we'll hop into another game, and we'll start talking about all the ghosts that you can identify from just one hunt. So this is actually like a pretty good way to farm money, is to set it at a relatively high modifier and just try to figure out the ghost in one hunt and then leave, because the games are going to be like, I don't know, maybe 60 seconds or a little bit more, and you're getting a couple $100 in XP from each game. So this is a great way to farm money if you're trying to get a certain badge and whatnot before reset. But let's go ahead, before we hop inside, let's go and talk about all the ghosts that you can figure out from just one hunt. There are 14 ghosts. We've actually already seen what the Moroi and Obake look like. We've already talked about what to look for when we look for those ghosts. But let's talk about all the other ghosts that you can identify from one hunt. Okay, so for a poltergeist, what you're looking for when you're looping the ghost is how aggressively it is throwing things. So like a normal ghost is going to throw things, no problem. But a poltergeist, when it's throwing things, not only is it going to be throwing a lot of things, but it's going to have these like super duper powerful throws. This is what a poltergeist is going to look like when it's hunting. So while I'm sitting here, I just heard the ghost do like some pretty crazy throws. I'm not 100% convinced on poltergeist, but let's see if now it is a poltergeist while it's hunting. Okay, so it's normal speed. Ghosty, come here. Now we're trying to see if it's a yokai. It's also not a myling, because we heard it before our flashlight started flickering. Ghosty, come here. So it's not a yokai. It is indeed a poltergeist. You see how I just threw that fork? So, oh my god, yeah, so we're not just paying attention to how much it's throwing things, but we're also paying attention to, like, the power of the throws. So, I mean, it is, like, throwing a lot of stuff while it's just kind of looping around, but we'll try to make a bigger pile on the kitchen island. Yeah, pay attention to how powerfully it is throwing these things. But, like, as you saw, too, like, I was just sitting here and I heard it do, like, a lot of throwing, possibly even a small poltergeist explosion, that I was able to also then deduce, okay, I should maybe pay attention and see if this thing is a poltergeist while it's hunting. So, I'll try to make a much bigger pile right here. Okay, that should be good enough. I probably could get some more things, but I want to be here for when the ghost hunts. And I'm not going to include the potato in this because the potato is beautiful and we don't want to do it to the potato. Okay. Okay. Oh god, you see how Jesus. You see how hard aggressively you threw that blade? Oh, you see how aggressively you threw that cutting board? Okay, she's getting a little bit close. I do have to smudge, unfortunately. I wasn't really looping her very safely. Okay. So hopefully that's a good tell for what a poltergeist looks like. Like I said, all ghosts are going to throw things with their hunting, but with a poltergeist, what you're looking for are like those super duper throws. For your yokai, you're looking to see if the ghost, if you're like yelling at the ghost from the kitchen, and if whether or not it is coming towards you. And a good way to tell this is to use your walkie-talkie. And if you're talking on your walkie-talkie, the radio is staticking and the ghost still isn't coming towards you, it is most likely a yokai. This is what a yokai is going to look like if you're trying to figure it out in one hunt. Ghosty, come here. Ghosty. Come here. Ghosty. Ghosty? For a myling, you're looking for a ghost that is super quiet, to where you don't hear its footsteps or its sounds until your flashlight starts flickering. And then also while you're sitting here waiting for the ghost to hunt, you could like observe stuff to help you rule out ghosts. So again, for this example, we just got an airball ghost event, so I know this ghost is not an Oni. So already, this ghost is telling me what it's not. And then if you're like sitting here and it turns off the breaker, you can rule out Jinn. So sometimes there's like ghosts you can cross off before the ghost even starts hunting. Here we go. Okay, so this ghost is actually a myling. So you see here, we weren't able to hear its footsteps until my flashlight started flickering. And then I just let it get a little bit closer to make sure it wasn't a Raiju. If it was a Raiju, it would have gotten very fast from my flashlight. I'll go and let it hunt again so you can see what a myling sounds like. But another cue for a myling is that we were sitting here and I could like hear it throwing stuff and touching doors while it was hunting, but I couldn't hear its footsteps at all. Typically, when other ghosts are hunting and they're like touching doors and throwing things, you'll also hear their footsteps. But I'll go and let this thing hunt again so you can see what a myling looks like. Okay, so it's actually super ideal if the ghost hunts, like if this is its ghost room and you're trying to test for a myling, because you almost 100% guarantee can figure out if it's a myling or not. Sometimes it can be hard to figure out myling if the ghost spawns really close to you. In that case, if you think it might be a myling, you could always smudge and try to like run away and do a myling test somewhere else before the hunt ends. But that is what a myling looks like. Not to be confused with a Raiju. So Raiju is different from a myling, but kind of similar in the fact that it's going to affect your flashlight from farther away. So it may seem like a myling, but the big way to differentiate between the two is that when a Raiju eventually gets closer to you, it's going to get really, really fast around your flashlight. So if you think the ghost might be a Raiju, you can try to crouch loop it around the kitchen island and occasionally turn your flashlight on and off. And every time you turn your flashlight on, if it gets a lot faster, that's most likely a Raiju. Okay, so this ghost is normal speed. Ghosty, come here. Ghosty. Ghosty. Probably oh, okay. I think it's actually... Yeah, this ghost is a Raiju. Oh my god, this is so perfect. You see it's getting faster every time I turn my flashlight on? Dude, I'm getting all the ghosts I need to show you guys, like right back to back. This is so nice. I'm gonna turn my flashlight on again. See how it gets like way faster. Also, I don't know if you noticed, we'll go and let it hunt again. When it wasn't like that close to me, The kitchen lights and my flashlight were already flickering. That's because Raiju's affect your equipment from farther away. So go and let it hunt again. One, pay attention to like how the lights in here are. Please don't break the lights in here. Okay. Well, pay attention to how my flashlight flickers from really far away. Unless it could hunt from right here because it just evented. Hopefully it doesn't. Go back to your room. So this ghost didn't spawn like very far away. So it's kind of hard to display my flashlight flickering and whatnot, but also another thing about Raijus that I want to mention is that they do not gradually get faster with line of sight if you're looping them with powered electronics. So if you're like looping a ghost and it's really fast and it's not gradually getting faster and you're not sure about Raiju, you can try turning off your flashlight, 1, see if it gets slower, and then 2, see if it then starts gradually getting faster with line of sight, because Raijus will not gradually get faster with line of sight if nearby electronic equipment, if that makes sense. Okay, well, nice. Let's try to get some more of these ghosties. Moroi, I've already showed how like what a Moroi looks like. Revenant, super easy. You're looking for a ghost that's going to be really slow when it doesn't detect you, and then if the second it does detect you, it's going to get super duper fast. And this is what a Revenant looks like. We've actually already had a game with a Hantu, but I'll try to get a better footage of the Hantu. The way the Hantu works is that it is very fast in cold temperatures, which is most likely going to be its ghost room on its difficulty, and then slower in warmer temperatures. So if you're looping the ghost in the kitchen and it's very slow, and not only that, if you're standing up and looping it and it's not gradually getting fast with line of sight, it's most likely a Hantu. Not to be confused with a Deogen, who is going to get super duper slow when it's next to you. If you're confused and not sure whether or not it's a Hantu or a Dio, you can let the ghost get just a little bit too close to you, and if the ghost doesn't slow down to like a snail pace to where it almost seems like it's standing still, then it's most likely a Hantu. Oh, slow. Morois will ignore you for twice as long after you smudge them. Onto? Yeah, it's just breath. You see its breath? We've already showed it Obake. Deogen, like I talked about, it's going to be super duper fast when it's far away from you, and it's immediately going to come to you and get very, very slow. So kind of like a reverse Revenant, except for the fact that a Deogen knows where you are at all times, even if your flashlight's off, even if you're hiding perfectly. So if you hear it goes really, really fast, and then it comes to the kitchen, assuming you're doing like one hunt games, and then it gets really, really slow, it's a Deogen. They're very easy to spot. Okay, so this is what a Deogen looks like. As you saw when it was like in the garage far away, it was very, very fast. And then when it came in here, see like how close I am letting it get to me, how slow it gets. It's almost like going down to a snail pace. So Deogens are pretty easy to figure out. Very free ghost to like get correctly, but just in case you don't know what they look like, this is what you're looking for with a Dio. So I'll like go over here and let you see how fast it gets again. Oh, okay. Well, as you can see, it was getting fast. So super easy ghost to identify if you're just playing for like one hunt games. For Phantom, you're looking for a ghost that has a super duper long blink. So it's almost going to be invisible and like hard to track. Ghosty, come here. Ghosty. Sorry, another objective. Jinn is actually super, in my opinion, very, very fun to test for. If you're doing like one hunt games like this, basically you're going to want to crouch loop it. When it first comes out to you and you're standing, if it gets really fast and then kind of goes back down to normal speed when it gets close to you, you can then try to crouch loop it and every once in a while stand up for a second and see if it gets a speed boost, and then when you crouch back down, see if it gets slow. I'll try to show you what a Jinn test looks like if you're doing like a one hunt games. Okay, so I'm gonna go and stand up again. So you see how the ghost was getting a little bit faster every time I would stand up? And then when it was rounding the corner, it was also getting a little bit faster. So I can't really show you right now because if it starts getting a little bit gradually faster from line of sight, it's not really gonna do its Jinn ability of like speeding up. But I don't know if you noticed, whenever it came out of the living room, it got like a quick burst of speed. That's how a Jinn works. And also I was able to differentiate between like a Raiju, because sometimes it might look like a Raiju because you're like, wait, are they getting faster because of my flashlight? Because they're a Jinn and they're seeing me. You can leave your flashlight on and like flicker it on and off and see if it gets slower and faster. I'll go and show that again, just so we can see if it's see the Jinn ability again. So what you're listening for here is listen to its speed before it rounds the corner, and then listen to it speed up as soon as it rounds the corner and sees you. So it's going to start out normal speed, and it's going to get a little bit pep in its step whenever it rounds the corner and sees me. Okay, well now it's starting in the basement, which is a little bit annoying, but... So you see I got a little bit faster, now it's normal. Faster, normal. Now I may not be able to do it again because I found like... Okay, there we go. It actually did it for us. Nice. That when they get a little bit of line of sight speed... Let me swing over here. You guys see I was getting a little bit faster to come over here? Okay. She didn't need to splash. Nice. So yeah, you're looking for a ghost that's normal speed and then gets a little bit of a pep in its step whenever it sees you. So that is what a Jinn looks like. That's what you're looking for as far as a Jinn's concerned if you're doing one hunt games. Let's go try to get one of the other ghosties. For an Oni, you're looking for a ghost that is very, very visible while it's hunting. This is what's going to look like. Okay, this right here is what an Oni looks like. You see how it's having some like super duper like visible blinks? Like there's a point in time when it's just like so like right there. And it's just like so easy to see. That is what an Oni looks like. I'm going to stand up in case you want to see a little bit better. Oh, okay. The twins, you're listening for a ghost that is either slightly slower than normal or slightly faster than normal. And if you hear a ghost that's kind of slow and you're not sure if it's like a Hantu or something, you can always try to loop it and see if it gets gradually faster with line of sight, because twins will gradually get faster as you're looping them, whereas a Hantu will not. And then a Thay, you're looking for a ghost that's going to be very, very fast. And then if you go to loop it, it is not going to gradually speed up with line of sight. Okay, so the current ghost we're going against is a Thay. And the way the Thay works is that when you start out a contract, it's super fast. So this ghost is very fast, and the way to differentiate it between Faye and Moroi when you're doing like zero sanity, zero evidence, one hunt games is first of all, pay attention to its speed. It's fast. You can also try to loop it and see if it gradually gets faster. If it's not gradually getting faster, then it's most likely a Faye. As you saw with that Moroi earlier, it got so speedy. Let's go and listen to it. You know how fast it is? Yeah, here it comes. See also how it has not gotten any faster on looping it. So that is going to be how to tell a Faye during one hunt. I mean, if you're playing normally, you could come sit in the ghost room and try to age it, but again, we're trying to speedrun games, so we're just paying attention, trying to differentiate between like the other fast ghosts, and that's the best way, is just to see if it gradually speeds up with line of sight, which this ghost did not. So it's fast, isn't speeding up with line of sight, means it do be a Faye. Unless it happened to be like a Hantu and it was a cold room, but this was not the case. And that's all I got for you guys in this video. If you have any questions about looping or figuring out any of these 14 ghosts, please comment below. I'm happy to answer them. Otherwise, hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, drop it a like. It helps out with the algorithm so much. If you love to drop me a sub. Good luck ghost hunting, and I will see you in the next one.